Did you know that Australia went to war with a bunch of birds and lost? Hi, I'm Bunny or GunBunny, and welcome to my channel. This channel, if you don't know, is about my journey through guns and cosplay, and part of that is talking about weird history, especially when it comes to guns. Now, today we're going to be talking about the Emu Wars. But before we get started, I just want to let you know to like, comment, share, and subscribe so I can keep making these videos. I would like to let you know that some information about my channel. First off, that I am only funded by my Patreon. I will not be doing sponsorships or using YouTube's monetization feature, even though they've asked me twice now. So if you are interested in that, you get extra GunBunny content, and it starts at $5. So my link for the Patreon will be in the description below and on screen now. I also have a PayPal box where you're welcome to send me things. I will soon actually be putting together a requested list of guns and tactical gear and stuff that I like, including ammo, if people want to send me things that aren't a subscription-based service, or if you just have stuff lying around. So that will be being compiled soon, and I will keep that updated so people can know, like, oh, what does she own, what does she, etc. I also want to say that I post videos every Monday and Thursday, so come to my channel and check out there. I do a good mix of things. I do everything from competitions to trying new guns to cosplay, shooting in cosplay, more goofy videos kind of like this, making cosplay, and just also pure goofing off. I also generally document my journey through guns and opening a gun shop. Let me think. I have social medias, which are on the screen over here somewhere. Where you can follow me, but I mostly post on YouTube and sometimes on Instagram. Most of my competition runs are actually on my channel. You can see I've mostly done competitions at Brutalities, which are hosted by Sinistral Rifleman and In Range TV. Will be on screen somewhere here or here. I don't know. So go check them out and give them a big thanks. November 1832. The Royal Australian Army sent out 3 men to help some farmers with managing the bird problem that was affecting their crops. Armed with Lewis light machine guns to face the birds. Flightless birds. How hard can it be, right? Most of us know this story. The farmers couldn't get couldn't manage the emus themselves. The military sent out some men with machine guns to help. But in true Australian fashion, Australia would have none of it. Hi, Hunter. You're so cute. Yes, you are. Who's your kitty? Okay. It's a funny thought to think about it, right? A bunch of flightless birds won war against the Australian military. But were the Australian military actually set up for failure in the first place? Today, we are taking a deep dive into the Emu Wars. I had heard of this in passing, personally. As with many things, especially with guns, I did a deep dive. My journey through guns is a weird and wild one, and so I hope you enjoy coming down it with me. I will tell you about the players in this war, the weaponry, what actually went down, and talk about why the emus won. Was it through the cunning and deceit and sheer power of these giant birds, or were the men sent to kill them, incompetent and underarmed? Or was it another reason entirely? Today we're going to find out as we explore the Emu Wars. Dun dun dun! There we go. First off, let's start with the men. Sergeant S. McMurray and Gunner J. O'Halloran under the command of Major Meredith. 3 men, smart and seasoned soldiers, armed with 2 machine guns and 10,000 rounds of ammunition. What birds could possibly stand up to them? Let's bring in the other side of this war, the emu, or the Dormanus davashman. Sorry, it's been a long time since I've studied biology. My blind's off. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. Put the word on screen of what their taxonomical name is. The tallest native bird to Australia, the 3rd tallest in the world. That's some big bird you got there. I want to say big cock, but they're not chickens. Oh, that would have been so good. They're the 3rd tallest in the world after the ostrich. They can get up to 6 feet and 3 inches, weigh from 69 to 82 pounds, run at speeds up to 30 miles per hour. These enormous birds can go weeks without eating and need water only occasionally. Now, this may all sound intimidating, but emus are actually ranked some of the dumbest birds, and are not known to be aggressive unless directly threatened, and are even known to follow and watch humans curiously, and can even be raised as very friendly pets. If these are not terror birds left over from the dawn of if these are not terror birds left over from the dinosaur age that were wreaking havoc on the local populations, why were they declared war on? Well, they may not have been violent, but they were eating local farmers' crops. And during this time period, the Great Depression had hit farmers hard, and the farmers were not able to handle the onslaught of emus alone. Just because the emus aren't aggressive or very smart doesn't mean that they're necessarily an easy enemy. Emus were in fact a nightmare, not just for farmers, but for the soldiers that were sent to kill them. Now that we know both sides of the war, let's get to the fun part. Let's talk about the weapons that were used. I say weapons, plural, because there were two of them. Not two different types of weapons, just two physical different guns. So they were the same gun though, the Lewis light machine gun. Now, this is a World War I era light machine gun that was actually designed in the US, but was never used there. The Lewis gun, designed in 1911, had an effective firing range of 880 yards, with a gas-operated an effective firing range of 880 yards. Fuck, I moved to the side again, because I want to have pictures. 880 yards with a gas-operated, I cannot talk. Is gas-operated hyphenated? Or is it one word? Or is it two separate words? I'll have that on screen when I figure that out. Gas-operated long stroke. I'll stroke you. No, I'm kidding. Oh my god, I'm so dirty today. Gas-operated long stroke gas piston. Wait, that sounds redundant. Is it saying gas-operated and then saying long stroke gas piston redundant, or a gas piston? I have to do research. Piston rotating open bolt. This gun fired 303 British from a pan that could hold either 47 or 97 pound rounds. Why 7? That bothers me so much. Literally just add 3 more and then you can get 50 or 100. There's probably a really good reason, but it still bothers me. Like, either go for, or do 2 less and then you have 45, or people are gonna be like, but there's something in the 17 round mix. Yeah, I hate those too. Go with 15 or go with 20. Why are we ending at 7s? Can someone explain this to me? Because it really bothers me. Why are, like, magazine capacities always ending in 7s? Like, why are we having 7 round mags and 17 round mags and 47 round pans and 97 round pans? Why are they not stopping at a good number like 5 or 10? Like, why not have a 10 round mag? Or if you really want 17, then just go for 20. Just 3 more. Or you could just go for 2 less and do 15. Who did that? Personally, to piss me off, that's why. Because my autism gets mad about numbers. The rounds were considered powerful. These rounds were considered powerful for their time and were effective on both long and medium range targets. So, seemingly well armed, the 3 men set out for their campaign. Day 1. Dramatic music. Sorry. November 4th, 1932. November 4th, 1932. 3 men set out on a goal of killing 20,000 emus. Their first sighting was a group of 50 emus. Despite having help from local farmers in attempting to herd the emus, the end of the engagement left only a handful of emus dead. When you say a word enough, it doesn't sound like a word anymore, but emu already doesn't sound like a word. And later that day, another 12 were killed. Okay, why does that rule apply to, like, certain words like food? Like, if you say food enough, it doesn't sound like a word, but not like words that we commonly say a lot. Like I or a or the. You don't come here for the cats, the guns, or the tits. Come for my random streams of consciousness. Yeah. Or my ass, that's also good. Okay. And later that day, another 12 were killed. Over the next few days, only one other successful attack was made, and a group of 1,000 emus were when a group of 1,000 emus were found. But again, they proved to be hard targets, and only another dozen were killed. More days of hunting emus continued. The birds... You okay, kitty? Sorry, my cat's making a ruckus. Ruckus. It's a good word. More days of hunting emus... Motherfucker, stop turning off. Fucking... More days of hunting emus continued. More days of hunting emus continued, but the birds continued to be hard to take down. After 6 full days of attack and 2,500 rounds of ammo fired, only a small number of birds were killed. Even after mounting one of the guns to a vehicle, they still couldn't take down the birds. Original estimates say about 50 birds were killed during this time, but later estimates range from 200 to 500. Still a meager number of their original goal. The official report states that 300 were killed. The 3 men left the 6-day battle with the only casualties on their side being their dignity. What could have possibly caused these emus to be so hard to kill? What could have possibly caused these emus to be so hard to kill? They're some of the world's stupidest birds, and they're giant targets. Shouldn't be that hard to kill them, right? Well, don't you worry, all will be explained. But first, we have the second of the wave of the Great Emu Wars. The second attempt at the Emu Wars followed the first, as the birds still caused issues for local farmers. November 13th, the men were sent out again. They were only able to kill 40 emus in the first 2 days and found even less success for the rest of the month. Though by December 2nd, they were able to kill about 100 emus per week. But this was not the efficient process they thought it would be. By December 10th, they were recalled after only having killed 986, having only killed an estimated 986 emus, having expended an estimated 9,860 rounds. Which, if you did the math very fast, that's about 10 rounds per emu dead. With an estimated 10,160 total from both engagements, the farmers still pleaded with the government to send out more men, as their efforts had not done enough to call the onslaught of emus. The government refused, instead putting out a bounty on the birds to help with the problem. So what happened? How did the emus win? Well, there are a few factors I seem to have found. And it seems to be a bit of a complicated answer, as in many battles, there are quite a few reasons why it ended the way it did. So let's unpack it. First, the emus themselves. Dumb as they are fast and seemingly adaptable. Emus normally are solitary animals, but sometimes find groups to migrate, find better food, or for mating. And during the battle, one of the tactics the emus practiced was to split into smaller groups, causing chaos. Split into smaller groups when rode upon by the men. Their size and speed with this tactic made it hard for the soldiers, even with the help of farmers, to coordinate an attack by herding the birds into one place and gunning them down en masse. Not only that, but it was also observed that the smaller groups seemed to have leaders that would not only warn others of oncoming danger and cause the larger flocks to scatter. This high level of coordination was not something the soldiers expected. These were not small animals. It's not easy to control or herd them. The soldiers had thought that this would be closer to shooting fish in a barrel. But the emus' field tactics weren't the only thing they had going for them. The emus, though unarmed, had great defenses. Emu's skin is very thick, and even after getting shot, can continue to run, as bullets would only cause glancing to minimal injuries, making it extremely hard to take down a single emu, as it would take sustained fire to a single emu to hit it enough to take it down, and it's not like an emu is just going to stand there and let you shoot it. And with how fast these things can run, this can be a bit hard. This is where the mounted guns came in. At one point, they had the idea to mount the guns on a vehicle. This was to mount the guns on a vehicle in an attempt to keep up with the speed of the moving targets. This proved ineffective, as the car was unable to keep up, and the terrain made it so hard to reliably aim the machine guns. The machine guns are actually the last part of the problem. The men reported on multiple occasions that these guns could only get a few shots off before completely jamming and needing more work than they could do in the field. that certainly would cause a problem, especially as they only had 2 guns. The men were also reportedly only provided with about half as much ammo as the emus they were sent to kill. The 10,000 or so they expected, the 10,000 or so rounds they expended seemed to be all they were allowed to use in the first place. All of this seemingly contributed to the failure of Australia's efforts in the Emu Wars. So the moral of the story? Australia, instead of fighting these birds, should enlist them into their military. If Australia had an army of giant, extremely fast, weirdly tactically smart, bullet-resistant birds on their side, I, for one, would not want to go up against them in battle. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up and please consider subscribing. If you already subscribed, click that notification bell to know that when I post a new video. I will be posting a new video coming up this Thursday, but until then, I have plenty of other videos for you to watch. All right, bye!